What's going on, dudes and dudettes? Setting up this video up a little bit different with the lighting, so we'll see how it goes. So yes, Paulo Banchero, the freshman coming in for Duke, the 5-star. He has already signed a name, image, and likeness so he can start making money while he's in college, which is really cool. It's only kind of interesting that he signed with CAA, which is also the company that Zion, the ex-Duke player, signed with, but I don't know if they were the ones involved of, you know, trying to get him money before the NBA and all this stuff and made some type of controversy while he was there. But hopefully it's not that. But as of right now, it doesn't matter because these guys can make money. So either way, it's all good. So let's see what comes out of that. Then Marc Gasol, apparently, we kind of thought that he was going to come back. He still is on the team as of right now for the Lakers, but apparently he could return, but maybe not returning to the Lakers. I don't know if he gets traded or let go. They work out a deal with his contract, but I don't know. I don't think he's much needed anymore, especially when they got Dwight and AD playing the center position right now. Don't really need him. There's a lot more younger centers out there, in my opinion. Then Jared Dudley, I had mentioned him a couple of times that yeah, he is a free agent for the Lakers, but I would have preferred them to return him as a coach, an assistant coach, instead of, you know, a player that's not even going to play, but he's a good locker room guy, apparently. But, of course, ex-assistant coach Jason Kidd, who's on the Mavs now, ended up poaching him, and now he's going to be an assistant coach out there for the Dallas Mavericks. So, of course, the Lakers didn't jump on that when they had a chance, which is dumb, but yes, Jared Dudley is now an assistant coach out there. Then ex-USC defensive lineman Everson Griffin, who's pretty much played his whole entire career with Minnesota, but then decided to go into free agency finally. Didn't get much, so he had to sign with the Cowboys. Ended up getting traded last year to Detroit. Didn't really play much, and now he's back, but only in like a situational type of thing, so he's not going to play every single down, apparently, but he is used to the system, used to the coaches, so it's a pretty smart move for him. Pretty easy move. It's only a 1-year deal, but at least another USC guy is signed, which is nice. Then yes, Matt Barkley. Of course, I've always mentioned that he's one of my more favorite ex-USC quarterbacks in their history, especially most recent history. And he just had a tough go because, of course, you know, he never got his chance. He was drafted in the 4th round, but if he came out a year prior, he would have been a 1st-round pick. But I don't know. Every time he's had a backup situation when he's had to come in and, you know, sub in for the first string guy, he's always played pretty well. Sometimes he's had some stats here and there. I just wish he had an opportunity, but I don't think he's gonna get it. But he can make a pretty good career in the NFL as a backup quarterback. So what he's doing, he's been trying to make this Titans squad to be the backup to Ryan Tannehill. And the first couple games, he's been good. The first game, he had a nice little touchdown. I think he got like over 100 yards barely. And then this last one, he had 2 touchdowns, which is pretty nice. So he looks like he's gonna secure that 2nd string for the Titans. And of course, now he's wearing number 14 with the Titans, so it's just destined. Obviously, if you don't know, 14 is my favorite number. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Might have to maybe get that jersey one day when it's really cheap, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Then yes, I guess because yes, of course, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, yes, 8/23 is Kobe Bryant's birthday. Of course, you know what happened, and then today is also 8/24, which pretty much the Lakers celebrated as Kobe Day as well, because 8 and 24 were his numbers while in the NBA. And yeah, and I think they did a pretty cool thing. They gave a bunch of newborns and, you know, families that were at, I think it was the UCLA Health Medical Center, some new Kobe Bryant swag, which is pretty cool. So they're a fan from day one, which is awesome. Too bad it's the UCLA one, but you know, it's all good as long as they're helping people out. Then to end off with something pretty interesting that I figured out, because I think it was the other day, Ohio State finally named their starting quarterback, which was a California kid in CJ Stroud, which I really liked. But of course, USC didn't get them. But then I did see someone else say like, wow, for like the top 4 of the top 5 teams in the nation right now ranked have California quarterbacks, and yet of course they're not on USC's roster. I think at least 2 of them, one was on USC's roster, JT Daniels, who is now the quarterback for Georgia, who I believe is number 4, number 5 overall. And yeah, he was at USC, but of course they chose Slovis over him. And I don't know why, because he is playing very well for Georgia, and he's gonna do well this season. Yeah, I don't know why they made that. And then also a guy like Bryce Young, who's gonna be starting at Alabama this year finally. He did commit to USC for quite a while, and then his senior year decided to go to Alabama, of course, which sucked, but we'll see what he can do. He hasn't had much playing time. He was considered one of the best California quarterbacks of all time while he was here. And then DJ Uiagalelei, I believe that's how you say his last name. He was a guy who was always a rival of Bryce Young, so I guess that's why USC never really offered him or did anything, because they thought they had Bryce Young, which is stupid because they should always, you know, go after these guys no matter what, because he was a fan of USC for so long, but he said they never recruited him, so he ended up going to Clemson, which is obviously a powerhouse, sat behind Trevor Lawrence last year, #1 pick in the NFL this year, and ended up having to play a couple games and played very well, especially against a Notre Dame team that was stacked last year. DJ did, and he is considered a top guy. That's why Clemson is, I think, the #2 overall team. Another California kid in DJ, and then as I mentioned, CJ Stroud as well. He was really close here, like Rancho Verde or something like that. He played very well, but did good on like that Elite 11 that the NFL Network does of top high school quarterbacks. And USC was not able to get him because they still wanted this kid from Arizona, Keaton Slovis, a 3-star guy, instead of getting at least one of these 4 or 5-star prospects. And as I mentioned, JT Daniels, and even like off the top of my head too, I think Jaden Daniels, who's the quarterback for Arizona State, who has started ever since he was a freshman, is also from California, like San Bernardino or something around there, or Bakersfield. But once again, another California guy who is playing very well in college and isn't on USC's roster, but of course they're not on UCLA's roster either. But you know, it just shows that either the coaching staff or there is just something about USC that isn't getting these top high-level quarterbacks into the team. They do have a couple of nice guys, Miller Moss and Jackson Dart, coming up, but it just sucks that they're in the same class, because then one of them is probably going to leave because the other one is going to start and the other one wants to show what he can do. And then as of right now, this year's class, I don't think they've really signed anybody high talented. I don't think they are, because Devin Brown is showing what he can do up there in Utah, which is okay, but he kind of has the Jackson Dart feel. But he was also a 3-star guy that they're trusting to be able to get better and stuff. So I don't know if they should really be trusting these guys, but we'll see what happens, because I don't think Clay Helton, the head coach, is going to be there long. We'll see what the new regime does, but yeah, overall, it is a tough thing to see. A lot of the 4 of the top 5 teams in the nation have California quarterbacks, and they're not on USC. So very sad. Hopefully we get a couple of these guys coming up. Even like a guy from Servite who's pretty good this year, he's going to Arizona. So that's just the way things are. Guess we'll have to deal with it. But thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.